Hello, everyone. I'm Golda,
And I'm Jamie.
and welcome to the J Gold Impact.
So, for today's episode, we wanted to talk to you all about the importance of advocating for your health, as well as having faith and a positive mindset.
Yes, and we wanted to broach this topic because many of us have these health insurance, right? We are usually going to the doctors once a year to get our annual physical checkup. So go ahead, Jenny.
Yes, and depending on the doctors, you will have different tests. But one thing that I find is that, at least as a woman, never have I ever had a full hormonal health panel screening. And the reason why I say that is because I recently went to my OBGYN. And I thought about it. Whenever I'm there, I usually get a pap smear, a breast exam, and then some STD and STI checking. But I've never had my estrogen level, testosterone levels, prolactin levels, none of those hormones checked.
And also, we're talking about this because the OBGYN doctors are not the ones saying, oh, Jamie, oh, Golda, you should get this test. And it's something that's included in our insurance. Like I said, we all have these insurances, but these doctors are not telling us, oh, these are important tests and you should get these annually. So go ahead, Jay.
Right. And so what I've found is that these tests do exist, of course.
Mhm.
However, they're almost reserved when something goes wrong.
Right.
Meaning, if a woman has a missed period or extreme pain or cramping, or if she's trying to get pregnant and she's unsuccessful, then those conversations are had and those tests are conducted. But what about everyone else?
And why should you have to wait for something detrimental to your health or some kind of red flag or something to come up for you to get these tests? These are tests that are standardized. They should be standardized, but they are not being offered openly unless we advocate and request these tests.
Right. And I genuinely believe that any woman, no matter what her age, whether it's 16, 18, 55, 60, we should all know what our base levels are regarding our hormones, our egg count, our fertility, because God forbid if there's a problem down the line, at least you know what your starting point is.
Yes, and as an older, adult, these are tests that probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago weren't so popular, and the doctors probably were not as advanced as they are now. So, in terms of the offering, perhaps I'm just thinking, it wasn't so popular. So, for someone to just come out and ask, hey, doc, can I get this test, that test 10, 20 years ago, they probably would have looked at you like, why do you know this? Or why are you asking this something wrong? But with today's, information, the website, looking up things, using AI, getting all this information, it's readily available for anyone, and you can do searches and background checks on these things to make sure that these are included in your annual checkup because like I said, they should be included in your medical insurance costs. And many of us, we either have health insurance through our companies or through the government or of such. But at the same time, these tests are not outside or excluded because it's a private insurance versus, a regular government insurance or something like that. So, yeah.
And I think that it's so important to advocate for your health because you can catch something early. And I really genuinely believe it's better to be preventative than reactive.
Yes, yes. And we all know in this day and age, with all these, I guess, health scares that happen to each of us, or we may not personally, but we definitely know one degree of separation, someone who has had some medical scare or something like that. So we're here now just talking about it to say, women of America, advocate for yourself, advocate about your health insurance, advocate about getting these tests done, because if we don't ask, clearly we're not going to get them done.
Right. And I would also say, do not be afraid to speak up. You know your body more than anyone else. And so if you are experiencing any symptoms, whether it's pain, dizziness, fatigue, talk to your doctor.
And honestly, I think the majority of us, the most tests we usually get is when we're expecting. Pregnant women, they get tests daily up the wazoo, right? Because I had these tests done, and it was 1, 2, 3, 10, 20 tests, weekly. But as a regular adult woman, these things are not being spoken about, and these tests are not being asked for us to take now. And that's what Jamie's saying, like, advocate for your health, advocate for these tests, and advocate for your health.
Definitely, because when you empower yourself with this information, you then have the opportunity to decide on next steps.
Yes.
So, we were talking about fertility.
Mm-hmm.
If for some reason you get this test back and your fertility numbers are lower than you thought, at least you have that data point to start family planning.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to freeze your eggs? Do you want to start trying for a baby? What does your 5 or 10-year plan look like now with that information?
Yes. And information that you have sooner rather than later is only beneficial for us to help planning, right?
Right.
Yes.
And if you have a pain or ache, do not be afraid to speak up. Because again, having the information is better than not having it.
And Jamie, do you want to tell them about one of your experiences? There we go. One of your experiences that you had at your doctor when you had to go through a test. And this is where we're talking about now, segue into the power of positive thinking and having faith. Go ahead.
So there have been a few examples over the years when I have gone to a specialist just for further testing. But one example that came to mind was actually, so apparently when I was younger, I consistently had a lower white blood cell count. And so my doctor, my pediatrician at the time, never really made a fuss out of it. It was kind of one of those things where she made a note, and at each appointment, she would just monitor it. And it never really became a problem because my numbers never dipped too low or too high. They stayed relatively stable, but just on the lower end. And so a few years back, she said to me, Jamie, let me do my due diligence. You have never been to a hematologist. Let's just go. I'm going to send you there to rule out any, blood disorders, the big C, you name it. Just we want to make sure that you're fine.
Yes, yes. Okay, here we go.
She told me I have a fiduciary responsibility to send you there. Like, we can't just keep, checking the box year after year. Yes. Now, of course, in my mind, I'm like, a blood doctor?
And she's like, Mommy, are you going to go with me? And I was like, of course. But my girl, calm down. We haven't even gotten tests yet. She was beside herself. And I said, okay, we're going to start thinking positively about anything that can come up, right?
Right.
A low white
blood cell
count is not the end of it. And lo and behold, when I looked back, and this is where I say about these doctors don't really say anything, because when I looked back and as I was trying to reassure Jamie, I said, I think my white blood cell counts are low too. And surely enough, when I looked back, mine were also low. And I was like, that's interesting, because my doctor never said, Golda, we should send you to a blood doctor to go and get a checkup to make sure everything is okay. It was just my normal baseline, but no one ever said these baselines are low. So here's Jamie, umpteenth years later, going through the same thing. And now she's like, Miss, oh my God, what am I going to do? My white cell blood cell counts are low. I have to go and see the hematologist. I have to have an appointment, etc. Go ahead, Jay.
Yes. And by the way, for context, the reason why I was so nervous is because a lower white blood cell count can sometimes be a symptom of a bigger illness.
Right, right.
And at the heart of it, that's what I was afraid of.
Yes, and the white blood cells are the ones that fight off infections. So, so to have it low, meaning that, okay, if I get something, what will happen? So there is a context why she was kind of like, oh my God, I need to go and see. So there is that.
Right. And so I had my appointment. I was very nervous, but my mother was there with me, supporting me. We did further testing, and it turned out that I was completely fine and healthy. And as my mom stated, it's actually genetic. So for my people of color who might be listening,
yes,
if you too have a lower consistent white blood cell count, do not panic, because there's something called neutropenia, which is something that is common in people of color, which just means your base level is a lower white blood cell count.
And we found this out from the hematologist, by the way. And as another thing, too, when she was getting her blood pressure, she was so nervous. Her blood pressure was elevated. I mean, like super high. And the doctors are looking at me like, oh my God, Golda, do you know, has Jamie always had high blood pressure? I was like, what? No, Jamie's never had high blood pressure. What are you talking about? They're like, no, her blood pressure is so high. And I said, well, that's because she's nervous. And they're like, okay, we have to take it again. And I had to pull Jamie aside. I said, Jamie, we're going to have to do some positive thinking. We're going to have to do some of these things because what you don't want is your chart to be, oh, you have high blood pressure. And so now you're stigmatized with high blood pressure going forward. And every time you go to see the doctor, your blood pressure is high. And then they want to give you medication for this. And it's just because of nervousness. So again, I said to folks, if you're in a situation and you're very anxious, your blood pressure will be raised. So just think positive thoughts. Don't think about, oh my gosh, I'm getting my blood pressure taken. It's really about, again, they want to have a baseline to make sure everything is normal in that regard.
Right. And 2 points here. If your blood pressure is high, have them take it again.
Yes.
Even if it has to be 2, 3, 4 times, have them take the measurement again.
Right. Don't just take the first one.
Correct.
Right? Yes.
And even if it's at the end of your appointment, you remember to speak up for yourself and say, you know what, now I'm feeling a little bit calmer. I'm ready to have my blood pressure taken.
And hence what we say about advocating for yourself, because, and we go back to that whole mental health and where you are. Just make sure when you're going to these doctors, these specialists, that you're not on high anxiety levels, that you're not elevated, because these things can affect the outcome of your tests.
Right. And the second point that I wanted to make is, if you are feeling nervous about an appointment, take the time you need, meaning maybe do a meditation, go for a nice long walk, have your favorite tea or coffee, practice self-care.
Yes.
That way you can go into your appointment feeling much more comfortable and confident. Whether you have to FaceTime a friend, call a friend, bring someone with you, do what you need to do to show up feeling as comfortable as you can. Yes. And then don't forget to reward yourself afterwards.
Yes. And also going back to the advocating for your health, just make sure that, whatever your insurance is, go and see what does your insurance cover. Make sure that you do your homework, because you have to advocate for yourself, because you cannot rely on these doctors to advocate for you. So you do your homework. You make sure that you're going to your annual checkups or your doctor's visit with these questions in mind, so that you can get the full benefit, because like we said, no one's going to tell you. So do your own homework, correct?
Correct. And you might be surprised what's even covered by your health insurance. Yes. I know friends who have had nutritionists covered, therapy covered, their gym membership covered. Yes. Really, I would encourage you to pick up the phone and talk to your healthcare providers, the insurance companies, and see what your plan includes.
Yes. And like we say, advocate, advocate, advocate for yourself. So that's the end of our discussion.
Yes.
So if you like, please give us a like, click the like button, hit the notification button, and
please subscribe.
Yes, and we will see you again on the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.